Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I have some flip throughs for you. I finished my ocean themed journals, and I didn't realize how big, well, I kind of did, but I didn't. Each journal is over 150 pages or sides, probably closer to 160, with 4 signatures. One of them actually has 5, and it took a lot to get all these done, but I'm really proud of myself because I got them done in like 2 weeks, which is crazy for how big they are and how much stuff they have in them. But I am going to try and do a flip through of all 3 in one video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the one that's the most different. They're not exactly the same. A lot of the papers are different. There's some that are the same. There's some things, that are authentic, that have obviously they're one of a kind in each one. And I made one a little bit different than I made the other 2, but they're very similar as far as the style and what's in them and that type of thing. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one of them and talk. Well, you know what? I think better yet, what I'll do is I'll tell you a little bit about them and tell you what's different about one of them. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put some music on and do a quick flip through as quick as I can of all 3. So I'll do that. Here, let me move these over, and then you can kind of trying to figure out which one I should do first here. Let's go ahead. I'll tell you a little about these. What these are flip-flop journals, and the first person I ever saw do one similar to this was on Twisted Paper Studio. I saw hers, but this is the way I do mine's a little bit different. In fact, it's probably a little different than any that I've seen. I know a lot of people have said that they watched a tutorial in 507, is it Willow House or something? And I've watched her videos, but I've never seen her tutorial, so I don't know if mine is like that or not. I did do a tutorial on these a little while back. I'll put that in the description box of how I do it, but it is, I think, a little bit different because I don't open up my envelopes, and I also reinforce them and do stuff. Anyway, all 3 of these journals, this part of it is the same. I use the same picture, and there's a front and a back, but there's really not. There's really 2 fronts the way that I did it. I'm using this as the front because I have this little plate right here. I didn't put anything in there because I thought maybe you might want to put the year or something, if it's for a beach house or just whatever. So I didn't put anything in there. I used a lot of rusted elements in this because I just felt like if it was by the beach, it's rusted because that's just naturally how things are. I went back and forth on the closure for this. At first I had Sari Silk that I dyed blue, and then but I really felt like the twine was what I wanted to do, but the twine I had, I didn't really like it, and so I actually ended up buying this, and I really love it. It's more like a rope than a twine, and I think it fits this journal perfectly. The style that I'm going for is kind of a collected, curated type thing, that maybe you had this at your beach house, and through generations and year after year you just added more things to it. A lot of mementos, things like that. Maybe people that traveled there, or different family members, and you know, different generations and that kind of a thing. So that's kind of the look I was going for. So anyway, I have a lot of things just kind of sticking out. A lot of different papers. There is tons and tons of antique ephemera in here, and there's a lot of antique trims, vintage trims. Not all, but a lot. And like I said, a lot of rusted elements. This is what I consider one of the fronts. These have some really pretty glass beads up here, and some crystal kind of turquoise beads, and then this rusted starfish there dangling from this antique piece of doily up here. On this picture on the front, I have this, and almost all of the digitals, just about a lot of them, the ephemera, everything is from multiple Ruby and Pearl kits. I used her too, I think By the Sea and Seaside, or I can't remember the names. The best thing to do would be go to Ruby and Pearl on Etsy and look through them. But I also pulled from a lot of her different blue kits that she had. You know, her different, I don't remember exactly what they're called, but she had like 2 or 3 other Lady in Blue and something French blue or whatever. And I pulled a lot of those. I also went to her French document kits, and I, you know, did things from that. So basically I went and pulled a lot of things that were blue, green, a little bit of green. And so you'll see a lot of different colors of blue in all of these journals. That's pretty much what I did. I did not do a lot of like mermaid type things, like any fish type stuff. I wanted this to really be like maybe just something that you would find, you know, at a beach house that had been owned for, you know, for years by a family, and they just would add this little guest book, just things that they would add. So I was trying to stay away from that. So you'll see mainly blues, a lot of tans in here. I tried to keep it within that, you know, color scope to kind of, I wanted a theme, but I wanted to look at eclectic at the same time. Anyway, you'll see it, and then you'll decide if I hit the mark. This is an antique trim that came off of some sort of clothing, and it really reminded me of seashells, so I put that on the front here. And this picture is in one of Ruby and Pearl's, and I did put this same picture on all 3, but the other side is different on all 3, so you'll see that too. But I love this picture of this lady just sitting there looking out the window at the ocean, and to me that just is total serenity. Anyway, and then of course I have the rusted nameplate here, and this is a rusted coilless safety pin that's holding the beads up here. On the other side, if you look at it, I have, this is I think these are covers of, they're all 3 different on each book, but this is At the Seaside, and on this one I put this little rusted pin here, safety pin, and it's holding these little beads that are these little kind of turquoise and then white shell beads, and then it has a little tiny seahorse on there that's dangling from there. I have a seashell here with some antique piece of doily with some burlap and then some netting behind it that is glued on the front. I also have this bull clip that is attached just to the front here that actually holds something in, but it is rusted. It has this little blue gemstone in it. And then I've got another little piece of doily with a cork star and a little a little piece of, or a little shell, a little tiny shell with some blue trim and some gauze and a little bit of netting behind it. It also has a little corner rusted piece here and one down on the bottom over here. So anyway, that's what the cover looks like on the back, okay? But I'm going to start on this side and just kind of open it up. Again, it has this really wonderful rope tie. I was so happy I found it. It's the exact right type. It's not too stiff and it's not too small. So I really am glad I purchased that. You have to have a removable tie on these because of the way they work. It opens both ways. You can't really attach, I don't think, anything. Well, you kind of could, but I don't know. I did it this way, so that's how it is. Anyway, there's a small envelope in front, and this is the picture. All of the two fronts, this side and the other side on each journal, does have some, it's covered with Moreland's wax to kind of seal it, and that is to kind of help protect it. But I mean, I only did that on the covers, and this first, flip right here, this is all covered with the wax too. So just to kind of make it last a little longer. All of the seams are covered with sari silk on both sides. It does two things. It covers up, you would normally have like a gap between the envelopes, but because I do that, it covers that up. And I do it kind of messy. I'm not really trying to be perfect. I'm trying to make this look like it's been around. I don't attach the edges real well, just because I want it to have that kind of, as I said, been around look to it. But the sari silk does reinforce all of the signatures, so that is why it is important that I do that on both sides, because otherwise it's just paper, and paper's not going to last that long. So this way they are reinforced on both sides, so I think it'll last quite a while. Anyway, so you open up the first flap and you will see there's this wonderful little journaling card. I debated as to whether or not I wanted to put this picture on the cover because I really, really loved it. But anyway, I put it in front. So, and then on this side, there's not anything. It's just some paper. I put a journaling card here as kind of a little fist plate. So if you wanted to dedicate this, or if you're going to have it at your beach house and you say please sign or whatever. Anyway, I just left that blank. So you've got that, and then you have a little pocket immediately right here, and you've got this beautiful journaling card here. And you go in, and I've got lots and lots of pockets and things in these. And as I said, there is tons and tons of ephemera in here, a lot of it original antique. And I think at this point I don't really have a lot to say. We will get to the other side and you'll see that, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and we will go ahead and I will just do a flip through of all three journals. I'm going to do the last one that's a little different. It has like another little signature in it and another little flip out. I just did it a little different. It has a little bit more writing room, but other than that, they're very similar. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start flipping through, guys. Okay, so that is all 3 journals, and all of them will be listed by the back cover, I guess. So there'll be Cottage by the Sea, At the Seaside, and Down by the Sea. And they will all be in my Etsy when you see this. And they're all pretty much about the same size. You know, the way that these work is that they're basically have 4 spines, so you don't have like a spine in there. And they all have pretty much the same amount of ephemera. The only thing different is this Down by the Sea is the one that has the extra little, I guess you get it the other way. It has the extra little signature in there. It has a small signature in front that has just writing pages. And then this flips out on the other side, a little bit different. It flips open, and then there's a little writing spot, and there's also a little place that you can, there's a tag in there. So I did a little bit different than I did the others. So it has more pages in it, but other than that, they're all similar. They all have the same type of ephemera. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it's the exact amount, but it's very similar. So technically, they are about 4 inches on the spine area, and they're probably right around 4.5 width with a 9.5 length. So that is about the size that they are. And they're over 150 pages or sides. I'd say closer to 160. And on this one, it's probably at least probably 170. So they're big little journals. Okay. So thank you for watching, and I hope you were inspired to do something, you know, ocean, whatever. I did mermaid journals, I think, about a year ago. So I don't know if I'll do a mermaid journal this year, but I really enjoyed making these, and the Ruby and Pearl digitals were great to do that with. So check out her Etsy shop, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, guys.